through here. Oh. Does help with the seeing some of the small details. Bring it up more. This picture of shrapnel and more of that guy. So, and then you can see Calabac better. So, like, this is without that thing. There's Calabac and Dr. Phosphorus and Scalp Hunter and Scalp Hunter again because they caught Nemesis. Got him. He's like, hey, don't shoot. What am I gonna do with him? So we can take him. We can find out what Tax Force has up to. So yeah, Calabac says, yeah, that we'll take him to the prison. And they grab him because Calabac can do that. They take him to the prison. And so let's go into all their stuff. I think I showed a lot of this before. I'm just gonna tell you. This is older stuff. This is. Yeah, this is old. Alright. This is an important scene. In this scene, Black Panther has brought the other West Coast Avengers to Wakanda. And they have to climb to see the Spider Queen, which is really important, right? So we gotta climb. So Spider-Woman's the best one at climbing, so she climbs after Black Panther. And they reach the thing, and they reach the spider guy, who's one of those guys who's up. It's like, hey, it's you. Where are you? So this is more fully though. So Black Panther says, okay, we're here. Only Spider-Woman can follow me because it's important. She looks like a spider. Stay here. This tribe is allied with mine, but they don't trust you. Stay here until they tell you to come. And so Living Lang's like, oh, okay. And Wonder Man says, stay here. And so, because Black Panther likes to brag, he says, hey, short, climb. And she doesn't care because climb. And so he arrives. It is I, T'Challa. And these guys are like, it's you. What brings you back? And so he tells them what's going on. Probably gonna redo this page because it didn't come out too well. But this is in the story. So this is the same page after it. They're really happy to see him. He's back. Oh, this is they bring him to the inner sanctum of the Spider Queen. I says you have to be really formal with her because she's very old. So they go into this thing that's kind of like a head with webs. She says, oh, T'Challa, how many years has it been? What does the Panther King need from the spider people? She doesn't know what's going on. Wakanda is under attack. My people are captured and dying. Mother of spiders, sister to Anansi, I beseech you, help me. You will beseech. Come close, young king. And so she's gonna smooch him, which we've got in another page, in a different part of the story. Spoilers. Thor bites Calabac, so they've been beating on each other, but Calabac can win against lightning. Raccoon. He brings down the lightning on the Calabac. There's all this wreckage from fighting, and so it gets him. And Calabac's like, oh, okay, Calabac heals. Do what you must. Warrior. He thinks Thor's gonna kill him, and even though Calabac has done a lot of damage, Thor's a superhero, and so these three were fighting, but they had to back off because they had to get out of the way of Thor and Calabac. That's Wally West and Hank Pym and Metamorpho. And so Metamorpho's joking. He says, do do y'all think Thor's gonna do, man? And says, the son of Odin, Proud Dark, that's the narrator. He has killed in anger, but this time, he doesn't. He doesn't kill. He doesn't kill him. Actually, Kalmak's important to the end of the story. Back in Wakanda, back in the end part of the story, then what was happening was Spider-Woman was hitting Gorilla Grodd with her psychic blast. But of course he's psychic, so he just tears through it. Rog, oh, I'm female. My psychic blast fall before my psychic blast. And so Living Lightning and Human Torch come in. They're gonna get him. And he says, he flame. Oops. Okay. Device back, there we go. That's Living Lightning and Human Torch. This is one when the brief period of time when they're both on the same team. And so they cooperate. And he says, eat flame, you big monkey. And God says, I'm not a monk. And he blasts him. And of course, he gets blasted, and that's it. Now, this doesn't happen. But it's a nice thing. They don't end up on this part of... But it's a great kind of alternate thing. The Excalibur story is actually happens in England, but different villains. These three are actually in Paris, and that's Enchantress, and that's Rhino, and his Joker, and they have a lot to do, but that doesn't happen. It's the alternate cover. So this isn't what I was working on. I had done it before, but I'm working on some more later because there's a lot to do. This is like one of those things where you see everything that Batman watches because he's always watching a million things. And so he's watching every single battle that's happening everywhere on the DC Earth because the villains have attacked along with the parademons and Darkseid's things. So what they're happening. I hope you guys are doing okay. This is Batman. Batman's really important in this thing. He's not one of the initial heroes, but he comes in, helps out a whole bunch. He says he's talking on the phone, and since 1991, he's got the old cell phone. And he says it's terrible. Yeah, he's getting a team together. And so Alfred is here. He's brought him food, and he says, "Your refreshments, Master Bruce." And so what happens next is Batman is gonna get the team together, and he actually pretty much saves the day. For real, he really does. This is an old page, I think lately, on the Marvel Earth, in Central Park. The bad guys are using it to, hi everybody. Okay, so the bad guys are using Central Park as a point of entry from Apocalypse. They've built a big projector, and they're sending all these parademons in. And these guys are talking. They've taken a bunch of the heroes prisoner in the zoo. And so, but the X-Men floated, and Wolverine's there. He's like, "Oh, gotta get to base, gotta free the prisoners." And so, Cyclops has got he's trying to make a plan. And then Wolverine's like, "Oh, no, you forget, Psych. I've been killing crooks before I was in grade school. I can take care of myself, see ya." And he says, "Blasted and subverted." And so, Psylocke says, "Let it go." Meanwhile, the heroes are fighting and actually winning against some of them. So, they beat a bunch of parademons, and Mysterio's pretty much on the ropes. This is what I'm going to redo. It just didn't come out right. It was kind of hard to ink, so this is the other one that was, these are all the things that are happening on the DC Earth. All the different parts of the world are under attack. And this has got nukes, people, and stuff. And so Batman says, "I know about everything. I have it ready." This is pencils of something. Oh yeah, probably gonna redo it. Okay. Later, at the end, the good guys finally get back together and they talk. just like they did before. They got more people around because Iron Man's there and Martian Manhunter's there, and so is you guys are doing well. Okay. Now, this is an important page to actually redo. In it, Batman's got to get the guys back together, so he goes to Metropolis and goes to visit Black Lightning, who's hanging out with his friends. He's got a lot of friends. We're sitting on the thing, like, whoa, he's never seen Batman before. So they're like happy to see him. He says, it's bad. You gotta move fast. Washington, it's almost entirely taken. We gotta go there and buy my backcopter. So I need to back on my team, the league, which is really important because they had a chance to put Black Lightning on the league in the 80s, but they didn't. And instead he was on the outsiders. But his friend is going to help the Justice League finally. And so they move and they get in the thing and go. Okay, now. Okay, hello anybody who's joining. This is the beginning of the Teen Titans crossover. So the Teen Titans are helping take back Washington. They've gone over the Memorial Bridge from the Lincoln Memorial and over. I used to be there, so I know what it looks like. And that's Troya and Starfire in her 90s costume, and Speedy, and Changeling, who's turned into a tiger. And there's cars and stuff because things are blown up. They have a pretty good fight versus a couple of villains. Now, in the back in the Wakanda story, you got a couple of pages here. So this happens pretty early on. Even though Magneto joined up with the villains, he doesn't like it because they were not being nice to the Wakandans. And he says, I feel ill at ease. I've seen people subjugated before. And so Gorilla Grodd's trying to mind control him. He says, have you touched Magneto? He says, I assure you, Grodd. And like these other weak-minded civilians, I am protected from your mind control. He taps his hat. He says, I am the Gorilla City, and we are accustomed to sharing thoughts. But I am first a gorilla. I can hear it in your voice. I could smell your anger. He's kind of spooked, Magneto. You can read me well then. This occupation disgusts me. So he leaves. So to make things interesting, you lose one of the major villains. And he's not around for a while. But there's still a lot of bad guys there. The bad guys in Wakanda are also Hobgoblin, Grodd, and Crossbones. And they had some help from a bunch of parademons. And so they think their things are under control. Hobgoblin teleported in from another planet, but they'll take him as long as he behaves. And so he's just being kind of threatening. He said, hey, did you make any plans for Black Panther coming back? Because although Crossbones should know better, Gorilla Grodd doesn't think any of them. And he says, whoa, 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 whoa. The gorilla does not fear the mewling panther. And they're like, ah. And so one of their citizens says, you will, Grodd. He does. They have a really good fight. But not yet. Later. In a different part of the story. And it's kind of happening at the same time, but on the DC Earth. So, the Suicide Squad have teamed up with some of the Justice League, and they defeated some villains. And so they're going to figure out what to do with one of the guys that, they got shrapnel, and they're going to take him into Belle Reve. They broke him into pieces, and so they're going to take him in a box. But they said, we got to get the other Justice League to Paris. And then what Hank Pym does is he makes him a plane, because he always carries his plane in his pocket. And so what Metamorpho says is, can I not be the vehicle this time? Because he's been the vehicle a bunch of times already. So he says, no problem. Let me resize this thing. And so Flash is very impressed because he makes a small Quinjet grow up out of nowhere. And they get inside. And so what Flash says is, bucket seats. He says, strap in, Flash. Get your legs a rest. Because he has been running a lot. Paris, here we come. So they're going to go back. Now, a little later, actually right before this, Thor and Calabac were fighting with their hammer and beta club. Now the battle between the gods. Hi everybody. Um, and so Calabac is hitting with his beta club. Yes, because they like it. Because they're smashing. And there's all this lightning going around. And so he did hit him pretty hard. He says, "Your stroke we're fighting Calabac." And so Calabac thinks he's gonna kill Thor. He's not gonna kill Thor. Now Calabac will deliver the killing stroke. And so, of course, Thor says, "I say thee nay." And he brings down lightning. And this one, he absolutely blasts Calabac. Nothing. But Calabac's just knocked out because he's a new god. And he's okay. Earlier in the story, the heroes, were getting together. They were transported to another planet. And so they have to figure out, okay, how are we going to survive? And so this is Quasar in his brief costume when he was the protector. And then they put him in this old one. There's a new one. And he's been kind of smooching on fire. And so Cap is chewing him out saying, "Hey, I'm the commander. We gotta be a team, the Avengers. You gotta follow orders." Says he's really angry, but he gets over it. And so, of course, Rocket Red thinks everything's okay. He says, "Okay, smoke friends. Sorry to tempt you, but we gotta get ready to go." Because they actually figure out a way off of the planet. And so, all the heroes are gathering up in the little valley. And Flash is trying to pick up on the whole She-Hulk, but that's not going to work. And so Iron Man says he's got to tighten the connectors. He's working with Blue Beetle, and they made transporters. So what happens is they transport away back to 2 Earths, but they have to rush. Now, this is the end of a different comic. So I'm going to put these in order eventually. It's going to finish them. The good guys, the Teen Titans and Infinity Inc. have freed Moscow from a hundred new villains, and they got Grundy on their side because he's always been on their side. Because if you bring Jade, she's friends with Grundy, and so she tells him, "Hey, behave. We need you now. You stop hitting." And so he says, "Oh, whoops. Okay, I'm sorry." He said, "You should be. Come with us." And so what Nightwing says, I'm going to draw him a little better, is that the villains are on the run. We've freed Moscow. And so that's not good for Kanto. He's sad. And so he's in prison on Apocalypse. And so Dark says that you failed and you are to be punished. It says, "I know the end." It says, "Trying to pay a visit to the Zod's torture chambers." So that's how it goes when you don't succeed in Apocalypse. Now, in the earlier part of the thing, this is when they get to the planet that's far away, and they have to realize, how are we going to eat anything or live? They find some water, and so Iron Man soars off there, and Rocket Red likes his armor. The bad guys are talking to Darkseid. That's the leader. And so they're talking to him. He said, "We tried to kill him." He says, "I'm here." So you failed out typical. He said, "No, we're not going to fail. Don't blame me again. Kill them and it's splendid. When it's done, report back." I said, "Oh, okay, yes, my lord." He said, "You heard it. Ready the ambush." So they do ambush the good guys, but they still don't win. Because the parademons, they're not very effective. And concurrently, the bad guys are attacking the Marvel Earth. And it's the Sparrow. Hi, everybody. The Sparrow versus the X-Men, the blue team. And he's fighting Rogue. And she says that was right nasty. And so what Beast says is, "Hi, look out." Because just Sparrow sneaks up behind her. Oh no. But he doesn't get her because somebody blasted him from behind. And the one who blasted behind was Captain Marvel, which is in another page. In an earlier part of the crossover, I'll try to explain. This is Kanto. He's really going off. And but the Russian military has got plans, and they've got everybody in a safe place. And so they're figuring out what to do. And so what their plan was is to get Red Star and the Titans. And so they do. And that's the thing that saves them. They get in there and they save everybody. Now, about the same time, the Justice League is trying to free some of their people from the bad guys and Venom. And so what happened is Venom saw Superman, and so he took over Superman, and he was so happy. I never forged social power. I drew this in 92, before everybody started getting taken over by Venom. So he doesn't stay this way for long. And so, Steppenwolf's kind of beat up. He says, hey, Super Venom, test your superpower against our enemies. And so he says, yes, terrific idea. Blah. It makes him so happy. They're fighting inside the East Wing of the National Gallery of Art. And so he's hiding. He says, they don't even see me. And Green Lantern is kind of hurt. So is Batman. And Black Canary's trying to take care of him. But anyway, what Superman does is he chases her out. And he chases her all the way out. And they find a way to get Superman off, which I have in another comic. A lot later, the Hulk has come to help in New York. They put him on a Quinjet, because this is smart Hulk, and he behaves. And so the S.H.I.E.L.D. guys brought him on a jet to New York, and all jumps. I drew this a lot more recently. Jumps. That's how I guess places. And the bad guys are here. Those are parodying. All the techno chiefs. They're like, oh. And then there's a shadow, and it's the Hulk. And he's gonna stop. And he does. It's very good. This is Snow. This is not comics. It's good to have blank pages. Otherwise, we don't anything down. Okay. Now. Okay. This one is, much later on, the good guys on the DC Earth are really getting together. And so, they got a bunch of them together to fight Galactus. And so, most of the DC heroes get together in Metropolis to fight Galactus. And so that's Agent Liberty and Matrix Supergirl and Superman. And so they got him, and Superman managed to knock him down, which I show on another page. And so he's thinking, and so like Batman says he's doing the right thing because he's not going to kill Galactus. He says everyone came down here on give him some room. It says he's talking to Galactus. Galactus, for all the hurt you caused, that Darkseid caused, I should kill you. He says, but don't kill, because that's Superman doesn't do that. He says something that there has to be another way. So Galactus says, "Go, child. There is no other course left." But there is, and they find a way to get him out of there. Because they happen to have, it's the next page. This young hero, you are very brave. It says, Galactus is as old as time. See how big he is compared to everybody else. And so he says, maybe time is at an end. Now Darkseid is taken. Because what happened is, he gave Darkseid some of his power. And with Desaad's help and Nova's help, he got all his power. So he had to go to the Metropolis Earth to try to eat that, but it didn't work. So they got him. He said, Darkseid, what? How did you know that? Know him? He says, I had promised I could eat your Earth. And he's like, all right. But they forgive him. Because the story needs to happen. And so what happens is, things get better. Now, so this is more of the same story. And so this is Light Races. He says, hey, you know what? Here we are. I'm Orion, and this is Light Ray. Remember us? Our father sent us. This battle needs to defend us all. And so Superman says, many of the heroes are here. And so is Venom. Because Venom got off Superman, and he decided to be friends. And Eddie Brock promised to not get everybody. And so Venom That's a fierce name for a hero. And so Venom says, I'm a fierce guy, a lethal protector. Because it's a 90s comic. I thought it was funny. And that was about when they started calling him lethal protector. I'm on your side. And so, I mean, Hermione's pretty fierce too. He says, well, there'll be much to prove that. He says, come on, to battle then. And so they go off to fight. So Venom's on the good side. And so this is when Superman's helping Betty get used to having Venom again. And so he says, Venom's tired. That took a lot out of him. And so he says, you can rest there and a minute more left to fight. Hi, everybody. I'm pretty old. Just look at my channel. I've been drawing comics forever. So this is really just sketches. I'm going to make this into and there's Superman. But they have a boom tomb, and that's when Orion and Lightray arrive. And so this is Lion and Lightray. This is around the time of Cosmic Odyssey. And so he greets them. Okay. We're not going to be out too much longer. You can just drop if you want. This is a sketch thing. Okay. A lot earlier in the story, Bruce Wayne is recruiting by Black Lightning. And they're talking. And that's some of the heroes are talking on the other Earth. And they're making a plan. And the bad guys make a plan too. Yeah. That's, we're going to sketch. We're just going to get it on for a while. Just a couple more, and we're going to be done. This is a great scene. Okay, about the same time on Marvel Earth, Black Panther visits the Spider Queen. She's really powerful. And so she's going to smooch him. And so she's like a spider. She can take the life out of you if she wants. And so he's getting all butterflies all around him. And so he's like, oh, okay, wait a minute, that's too much. And so he says it's too much, and she's really happy because she just taking a little bit of life essence out of somebody's really fun for her. And so that was the price of getting help from the spider people. And so they are going to help. And so they help Living Lightning and US Agent and Wonder Man. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a good rest of the day.